All right, let's review all of the internal organs. Things that you might see. I'll start up here. Now I removed this one, but this is the lung. You will not have to know the individual lobes, so if I put the pin in there, you will just call it lung. Yeah, okay. If you see a random lung laying around at a station, still a lung. All right, this piece of muscular tissue right there, diaphragm. This giant organ right here is very, very firm. That's the liver. Again, on the paper, you'll see it reflected. I have them for you. They're getting copied right now. You will not have to know the individual lobes. You will in college, but not right now. So if I tag it anywhere here, that's liver. I'll bring him up there. Liver. And then somewhere, you have to kind of spread it apart. Oh, I can see it sticking out. There's like a little dried up, shriveled raisin looking thing that's embedded in the liver. That's the gallbladder. It actually produces bile salts so you can digest really fatty, non-polar food items. Okay, gallbladder. So if it's, I'm going to pick one that's sticking out, and if it's not, I'll actually remove some of the liver so that it's very obvious. You won't have to, because you can't touch the minks on the exam, you won't have to move anything. I'll have it moved for you. All right, so if I lift the liver up, there's a big structure right here. Oh, I'm going to have to get up there. There we go. Right there, that's the stomach. You can see it's got a nice little J hook to it right there. Now if you follow the stomach to its termination, there's a valve right there. And then there should be a pretty straight tube coming down the right side of your mink. Pretty straight tube. That is the duodenum. Duodenum. And that does about 90% of the digestion. Now the rest of this coiled tube, this is all small intestine right here. All of this. We're going to call that jejunum and ileum. Jejunum is the middle portion. Ileum is the posterior portion, or the end of the small intestine. But it's very difficult to tell where it starts and ends. So if I tag right there, if I tag it right like there, one of the answers will be jejunum and ileum. Pick that one. Okay? The other will be duodenum, and I'll do rectum or colon or something like that. So that's the small intestine. Now if we backtrack here, you can see if I move the small intestine out of the way, there'll be a much larger tube. It's twice as wide as the small intestine. Guess what that is? That's the large intestine. It's called the colon. Now we have pieces. You can see this part goes down. So if I tag this part, this is called the descending colon. Because which way is it going? Down. Once that passes the margin of the pelvis, so from there to the anus, that's called the rectum. So if you see a mink and his pelvis is split and splayed open and all the reproductive organs are removed, I'm trying to get you to identify that. You cannot see the rectum right now because it's inside the pelvis. So this is the descending colon. Now if I come up here, you can see a piece of that colon comes left to right. That's called the transcending colon. And then if I roll this over, there's a tiny little piece right here that's vertical. That's called the ascending colon. So we've got ascending, transcending, descending, and then what's last? Rectum, and then there's a circular sphincter muscle called the anus on the outside. I do not think that's going to be tagged. Okay? Other digestive organs. This large one on the side right here. This is the spleen. If we lift the stomach up, you'll see a weird brainy looking organ right here. That's the pancreas. Right there. So make sure you find these on your mink. All right, let's go to the kidney. I'm going to roll this back over. There's the kidney. And I did have some people last week go, I didn't know we had two kidneys. Yeah, nature's pretty smart. When something's this important, you get two of them. Do you need both of them? No, you only need one. All right, so that's the kidney. And then there's going to be 3 tubes coming out of the kidney. Actually, one's going in, 2 are coming out. This blue one right here, this is the renal vein. I'm going to flip this kidney over, and you can see looping under the vein is the renal artery. So I'll have to reposition this kidney depending on which mink I use. That's the renal artery. The blue one's the renal vein. And then there's a white tube that comes down out of it. This is called the ureter. Ureter. The ureter comes back into the back side. I'm holding it right here. There we go. That right there is the urinary bladder. And you can see the ureters come in from both kidneys on both sides. If I flip this up, There's a single tube right here. Let me dissect it a little bit. There's a single tube right there called the urethra. That's how the urine gets to the outside. There you go. And then behind that is the vaginal vestibule. And that's all of the internal organs that you need to know for the test. So lots to review. Stop.